In the beginning, things were going swimmingly well. Perfect employer, perfect environment, no mosquitoes, perfect retirement plan. And yet, there was a rebellion that we all know about. Now, whether you take that literally or as a myth, I take it literally. There's a boxcar of insight in one small verse consisting of 10 words. Adam is expelled along with Eve from the garden, and they immediately begin to cover up. They begin to hide. God, who is the ultimate pursuer, goes after them and asks a penetrating question to Adam. Adam, where are you? He knows where he's located, but he wants to know what's going on emotionally. Adam responds with the 10 words that contains a boxcar of insight that we've been struggling with ever since. He said, I was afraid because I was naked, therefore I hid myself. Those 3 statements are the dilemma we find ourselves in all the time. I was afraid is the core emotion, fear. I was naked, meaning the reason we're afraid. If we're vulnerable or open in front of another person, we could be rejected. And because of that rejection, since the fear goes up, we develop a strategy, and that is we hide out. Core emotion, core reason, core strategy. The problem is that since that time, we have layered up continually, and we've hid because we don't want to really be found out because we feel insecure. So what do? We develop an image management. 2 problems with that. It's exhausting to keep it up. And number 2, we're really never known. We're never really found out for who we genuinely are. So what's the solution to all of that? The solution, not surprisingly, is that perfect love casts out fear, or fear is melted by love. But love is misunderstood. It's misquoted, it's misused. Love is primarily an action, but it begins with an internal kind of perspective. 2 paths we can take in dealing with this problem of fear and hiding out. One is we can go on a lighted path that actually gets us to the real deal. It starts with humility, moves to acceptance, and ends with love. But there's a second path that's not well lit. In fact, it's camouflage, but many of us take it. And that is the opposite of that. It doesn't start with humility, it starts with pride, a preoccupation with self. That leads to a sense of rejection. No one's safe to be who they are because you really don't know how to deal with the issue of pride. And then finally, there is that sense of apathy or indifference, which is the opposite of love. 2 paths. At the end of the lighted path, there's the perfect lover. In fact, as you go down that path, I think it's the only one we can take that's genuinely sure. There is one who is patiently waiting for us to rediscover what we had at the beginning, and that is Eden all over again. It's our choice. One path that's lit and one path that's dark.